Okay. You ready? Yes. Satsuma City Council will come to order. I'd like to start tonight as we start every night. We encourage all of you to keep the social distancing. I think we've spread out pretty good here. There is masks out front or hand sanitizers. But anyway, everybody pretty much usually keeps their distances and all, and we appreciate that. But as always, we start our council meeting with prayer, and then we follow that with a pledge. So tonight, we'll ask Mr. Little if he'll lead us in a word of prayer, and then we'll, if you would, stand and then remain standing for the pledge.
Lord, we thank you for this evening. We just thank you for the beautiful day you've given us, Lord. We just ask your blessings on this meeting this evening. We just thank you for the ones that are here, Lord. Just ask your blessings on them, their families, Lord. We just pray for the ones that are sick. We just ask you to be with the doctors that helps them. Father, just ask you to be with our meeting tonight. Just help us to do your will, Father, and we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for leading that, Mr. Little, tonight. Heather, if you would give a roll call, please.
Councilmember Little.
Present.
Councilmember Butler.
Present.
Councilmember Skelton.
Here.
Councilmember Reese. Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Barlow.
Here. Please let the record reflect that all the council members are here with the exception of Ms. Reese. I think she did attend the pre-council tonight, but she had to leave to attend a function at the school for her daughter. So, with that being said, we'll move on to the fourth item on our agenda tonight, and that is approval of the minutes from our regular meeting on May the 4th of this year, 2021.
So moved. Second.
A motion made by Mr. Skelton, second by Mr. Butler to approve the minutes as distributed. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, that's passed. All right, and then our recognitions tonight. We have the Buffalo Soldiers who were able to make it tonight. I think the weather finally cooperated a little bit, so those gentlemen there, and Mr. Eddie, if you'd like to go ahead and stand and come before the mic, tell who you are, a little bit about the Buffalo Soldiers. Eddie's a person that I've known for many, many, many years. I couldn't even remember when we first met. Eddie, do you recall that?
Oh my goodness! If I have to tell my age if I do that, so
Okay. I think I was a young Mobile police officer when I first met
yeah,
Mr. Eddie
long
Irby, but
time, but it was good.
anyway, you
Oh,
go
wow.
ahead, and thank you for coming up.
Yeah, we wanted to do something because of the actions of the Satsuma police. We found out a couple of months ago, well, way before then, Satsuma has been designated one of the safest cities in the country. It's also a place where their police officers are highly regarded. And we even had an event here when we had the foxhole dinner out so we input at Steel Creek. We had Saraland police and Satsuma police. However, when we had to bring our 102-year-old man from there, the hotel in Saraland, there was something went on where it just took the police department out of control. Well, one policeman showed up from Satsuma and led the whole group, including the bus, over here to Steel Creek. And so since that time, they have really put an impression on us. And in fact, what we have done, and you'll find out later on, I've talked to some of my members, and I've got orders from my Buffalo Soldiers. And these guys are nothing to play with. The youngest one is 89. The oldest one is 102. They don't bite their tongue for anything. They tell you just like it is. They call a spade a spade. They don't mince words or anything else. So when we had the birthday, and I've got a paper, a newspaper here with the man's picture on it. I called the Call News the next day because when I went up to the Walmart to get one, normally it's about 15 or 20 of them. There was only 2 people left because they knew his picture was on there. So I just drove out to Sister L and got paid for a dozen of them, and I keep one we're going to give to the office tonight. But these are men are very impressive. These are soldiers that got from the middle from nowhere. The 102-year-old said he lied about his age. He was 14 years old when he went into the service. And you know, if you're a 14-year-old kid staying up the country, you're built like you're 25 or 30. And another thing you could do about most of the black soldiers, there were two types of black soldiers that went into the war. The ones from the South that could shoot, and then the ones from the East and Midwest that was educated. So they sort of taught each other after the war was over. In fact, this gentleman here was one of George Patton's sharpshooters. And Patton knew as he went on, that's why he never held on to anything. He just kept going. Patton knew that when he got into a firefight with somebody, all he had to do was kill off the leaders. Because unlike the American military, I get shot, well, Greg take over next and go down. Wasn't like that with the Germans. They had to wait till they called back to the Fuhrer and get a permission from him, you know. Otherwise, all of them would have to commit suicide. But anyway, he was one of those guys that could put a part in a mosquito's head at 50 yards in the middle of the night. Pat knew this, and he was one of his sharpshooters. I only have two of them that's like that. But these are men that really impressed me. They came back, they married their childhood sweetheart, became pillars of the community, deacons in the church, no drugs, no alcohol, no jail record, no PTSD. All they wanted to do was come back home, marry their childhood sweetheart, and be pillars of the community, and that's what they have done. The day that this man, we gave him his 100th birthday, he had just had 2 blood clots removed from his leg. And I told him, I said, well, Mr. Surley, we can wait till they know we ain't waiting for nothing. We're going to go ahead on and do this. I said, okay, you sound just like Patton, so we'll do it. Anyway, we had him up there. We had him on his front. I went up there and checked the place out. And I said, now we're going to 43. Sometimes 43 can be like driving on Interstate 65, because I've gone up there and some of those big trucks will pass me. I'm doing the speed limit. They'll pass me like I'm backing up. So, but I've got these guys here on these Harleys. I said, well, we don't want nobody running past me. And I had another gentleman here. He's a colonel, just came in from Afghanistan. And he had moved across the street to stay with his mother, who's 93 years old. So he had never been in a motorcade like this, so he was there. So that was like maybe a half dozen cars, and the Mobile County Sheriff's Office, Satsuma Police, we had called Saraland, Saraland, but they didn't show up, Creola Police, and Mount Vernon. And so it was really, really nice, because when whether we're going to take a soldier to his final resting place or something like this, your first thing I'll try to look out for are these guys on these bikes, because sometimes people would run right over them, and so we want to have, and to go up 43 and looking at your rear view mirror, those guys with the big flags flying, and you look in your rear view mirror, and there's Satsuma Police behind us, in front of us, and on the side of us, and nobody passed us, all the way up there to his house. And not only that, when we got to his house, we made 2 circles, and when we got there and finished that, these guys stopped. And I said, well, I thought they were leaving. They stopped. They wanted to go back over and salute this man. And this meant a lot to him, because you figure black soldiers, when they come back, did not get the recognition that everybody else got. And these guys, you kind of figure these guys were special people that God intended to live a long, fruitful life. Because I know some people, Mr. Andre, the man sitting right next to him, Mr. Andre up in Mount Vernon, was sitting next to him, and he's just at turning 96. He and his wife have been married for 73 years. And I know some people can't stay married for 73 days. So, yes. So it was really a joy, and when you see something like this, you just really, really marvel. And the colonel, my neighbor, when we got up there, he pulled me to the side right before these guys went up there and saluted. He said, Mr. Herbert, did you see those Satsuma cops? They were just grasshoppers. They were just one after another. Nobody got on the road. Nobody came up behind. Nobody got on the side. I said, well, that's a good thing. And when we got up there, because in that road, coming over the hill, you can't see anything coming over here till you already over the hill to where we had to turn left. But one of the Satsuma policemen, I never did find, he was one with the SUV, drove up and blocked the road off so that nobody could come over. We had, and it was really, really great. After the thing was over, listen, Serling and Mr. Andre called me at the same time. Said, Eddie, you know what you got to do? I said, yeah, well, I'm going to call him and say, thanks. He said, no, you're not calling nothing. You get some certificates, get them together. He said, you probably take you 2 or 3 weeks to do it because those guys are really busy. But I want to make sure that they get something to recognize me, and I want you to get a paper because he knew his picture was going to be on the front page. Let them know why they're getting this. And one of the things I'd like to do, Mayor, later on, I'd like to get with you because my group has asked that they are in the process of getting some grants together. We would like in the future to designate Satsuma Police as an official escort when we have a soldier going to his final resting place or something like this when he turns 100 years or above. But I'll get back with you on that later on.
Yes, sir.
And we'll pay for it. But right now, I'd like to, I've got these 2 ride captains here, Satsuma residents, will assist me, and I'd just like to give a certificate of appreciation. It's not much, and Mr. Serling wanted to be here, but you know he's 100 years old, he can't move around, and the weather is not cooperating with him. So I said, you just stay there, we'll do that. We couldn't even get our video photographer to come back, but I said, well, that's okay, I'll get it done. And as long as he knows it's gotten done, he'll be okay. And so, another thing too, normally when you do a speech like this, you go and you got a shirt and tie. He said, don't you go in there with no shirt and tie on. You go in there looking just like I did when I went in the war, you know. And I was 15 years old when I went in there. So most of those soldiers back then, they got clothes that would not fit, shoes that would not fit, guns that would not work. But they were they were improvisers, and Mr. Andre with the 761st Black Tank Battalion got an M4 Sherman tank. It only did 25 miles per hour, but he got it in 1941. They were not allowed to go into the battlefield. So in 1943, when the Allies started to turn the table, Patton was trying to outdo Montgomery and another gentleman there to get into Berlin. But he was running out of gas, he was running out of ammo, and Patton is one of those guys, he always had an ace up his sleeve. He called back and he said there were some Buffalo soldiers driving some Sherman tanks. He said, yeah, the tanks going to go 25 miles. I said, no, those boys been working on those tanks for 2 years. They do 55 miles per hour now. And so he got the 761st Black Tank Battalion. And Mr. Serling here is one of the few black men that fought in the Berlin, and Patton called Ike, told him he had some sharpshooter he needed to get with those Marines to do the island hopping as they go to Japan. So he went there, and one of the things he did, his son sent me a T-shirt, and we're going to put some more of them out, but Mr. Serling fought in the South Pacific, Guam, Okinawa, Manila, and Guadalcanal after he left Berlin. So he wasn't playing around, you know. He said Patton told them to go over there and just kill people. I mean, he didn't. Anyway, what I want to do is recognize these gentlemen. I know you guys sworn to protect and serve, but to these men it's special because when you can do something for a person that nobody pays attention to, even up to now, even that children have a hard time because, you know, young people now, if they got a smartphone, they figure history started in 1975. They don't know nothing about how it really started. So I've got a certificate of appreciation that these gentlemen are going to find. And Sam, would you bring one of these up here? Let me explain these. Let me explain this one here. You're going to give them a certificate of appreciation, each one of them. But this thing here is one of those photos that you're going to see in the middle of the summer on billboards. We call this the Magnificent Seven. Those guys in this group here, this was the only group where when they went to Anzio and into before they went through the Gothic line, these guys were outnumbered 55-1. One of the black men in that group could speak 7 languages. When they got into this place right here, he sent a message to the Germans and told them, look, it's 55 of you guys there, it's 17 of us here. You guys need to give up because you're outnumbered. And you know, they must have thought it was crazy. When the shooting stopped, the only one was left was these GIs here, and they had taken, I've got a 1911 that I've got, Warren gave me that I brought back, because during that time, the spoils of war went to the victors. So I got that 45, well, that German Luger from the guys. But this poster is going to be on billboards, because what we're trying to do now, and Mayor,
Sir.
when we do have that meeting, we want to pick a space. You know, I had 3 goals to do a park, to do a souvenir shop, and a museum. We are now in touch with the Smithsonian, the History Channel, and there's a film crew coming over here from the UK for Memorial Day. They're going to come out here, so you'll see a lot of activity out here in Satsuma and Saraland, because we've decided not to put the museum in Mobile, because they just run out of space and they don't want to cooperate. So what we're going to do is get with you, because we'd like to put that, it's a $100 million project that the Smithsonian has already helped us put together. And so I'll get the information so you can get to them. Also, another thing we want to make known to you, the Buffalo Soldiers were all black from 1866 until the present, but they were led by whites. And so what I've been told by Mr. Serling, Mr. Andre, and my 102-year-old, he said, don't ever leave out a man who wore uniform. You know, we had Sergeant Major Benny Atkins, Mr. Williams, out at the Steel Creek. He was white, but he was a Vietnam vet, shot 18 times. But I spent a lot of time with this gentleman. He was almost like a father to me, because I spent a lot of time back and forth to Opelika. And 2 months after we had the thing out at Steel Creek, he passed away. So right now, Pete Ream is helping us get the Navy. The Navy has a Medal of Honor winner. And so that's going to be at our next group. But in the meantime, there's a lot going on. But I want to get these guys here, because I know you guys got a lot of business to take. But I just want to let you guys know how appreciative we are and what you do for these guys. Because prior to me coming and starting this chapter, of which my uncle was part of it in 2005, Mr. Andre's son, Aaron, told me he had never said anything about what he had done. Mr. Serling had never said anything about what he had done during the war until 2012, because that's when they joined our chapter. And after that, we had them all over the country. And now we've got some of the children who found some of the things that the 761st Black Tank Battalion went through and liberated 29 villages, captured 25,000 Germans, that the children of those villages are coming to this Mobile, to Satsuma for Memorial Day. So I'll get in touch with them and also. So I want to call these gentlemen up and give them a certificate first, and then this is a copy of the newspaper. If anybody else want a copy of the newspaper, it has his picture on the front. It has the whole story. And Greg Selma, who's a Satsuma resident, they've got him. He's on that too. He's on the back page here. So.
That's where he usually is.
But ladies and gentlemen, before we try here, I got to say something about these two guys. You know, when I came to get in the Patriot Guard Riders, this was like a whole brand new family. I had never been with a group of men. You know, during the war, the Vietnam War, I was at the Long Beach Naval Shipyard. I was a certified welder. I was welding in the torpedo room. So it didn't get me. And when I went to ask why they wouldn't call me, they told me the same thing happened to me that happened to my uncle's brother. Usually, if you're in the field where you're doing something that's going to benefit the military, they'll leave you alone. So I just stayed there at the Long Beach Naval Shipyard. But this is like a whole new family here. When you get with these guys, it's like, and even Jack here, you know. We were at the hotel there. I said, if you call Jack. He said, I'm going to get him on the phone right now. I said, okay, he can come on up here. I said, and he called me, well, I ain't here. I'm halfway across the country, around the world somewhere. I said, well, y'all trying to buy new bikes or new way? He said, no. He said, I'll let you know when I get back. I said, okay. Anyway, one person I want to start off, because you want to start at the top and then go down, but Captain Dukes, where's Captain Dukes? Okay. Captain Dukes is one of those people that, when we were trying to get all this stuff together, you have 100 people calling you, and you want to make arrangements to make sure everything goes all right. So I had to get in touch with the Creola Police, Saraland Police, Chickasaw Police, Mount Vernon Police. When I called Captain Dukes, she said, Mr. Herbert, not to worry about it. I'll take care of it. And sure enough, it just took a lot off me, and then we had a very successful thing after that. So now I know when we get ready to do something out here and we need the police, I know to call the captain. So the first one we got is her certificate.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Herbert.
Okay. And the next thing here, we got a picture here to hang on the wall here. And the oh, yeah. And also, these men, you know, we wear this blue pen. 2 weeks ago, I was working with Congressman Carl, Jerry Carl, who we helped get in Congress up there. And I told him, I said, look, we are part of the Veterans History Project. We just don't want to do this for the Buffalo Soldiers. Anybody that's part of that war uniform, we want to be able to recognize and do something for them. So 2 days later, I got this huge box. So we are officially part of the Veterans History Project, and I'll let the captain and the rest of the guys know about it. And Satsuma is part of it also. The next, who's the next person I got on here? That one, okay, who's that? Mark? Yeah, Mark Henderson. Is he? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
There's more. Your fingers. Unbutton his pocket and put it. Turn this way just a little bit.
Okay, and the next one here is Gerald Roberts.
Saying he's not
Yeah,
here.
they say he's
Okay.
in.
Mr. Irby, I apologize, but Officer Roberts is actually in basic training, so
Oh.
he has joined the Coast Guard Reserves,
Okay,
so he'll be joining your military family.
okay, okay.
He's absent for a very good
Well, let's-
reason, so
we're gonna leave
again, we
this.
apologize for his absence, but it's.
Okay,
for a very
well,
good
can you
job.
take his and see to it that he get it?
Absolutely. yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. And the last one here is Sergeant Kent Sellers.
Yes, sir, and unfortunately, he's out of town tonight as well.
Okay, okay,
Not as good an excuse, but he's out of town as well.
okay. Oh, and I forgot to give each one of them a newspaper here. It's got the actual article, those two that was here, the Sarge, and the rest of them can go to the captain. And Captain, I have a special award here for you too. This is something we just started. That's why your name is handwritten on here. This is what we're going to do now. This is a certificate when people join the Buffalo Soldiers. And like we said before, you know, we try to tell the true story of it. The Buffalo Soldiers were all black, but they were led by whites. And so this is our new certificate. When the person joined the Buffalo Soldiers, they get a framed certificate with this on there and their name on it, and it's usually $25 a year. For first responders and people like the captain and other Satsuma officers, we give them one, but we charge them none. They have a lifetime membership in this. And so when we put the Foxhole dinner together, this time we will have 500 people instead of 300 people. You guys, you can bring your family, it won't cost you anything.
That is incredible. Thank you so much, and I appreciate that so much. And I will see you here Memorial Day.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Ma'am, sorry for taking up so much time here, but we'll get out of your hair here now and going back to across the bridge here. But I'll get in touch with you
Okay,
on the
yeah.
other things that we're doing, because that museum is something that has already been sanctioned. It has the Major League Baseball behind it, the NFL, the NBA, all the people with the big money people. So this is one of those projects that the money is there, I just have to get some people together.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Eddie. You got your stuff there? Okay, get that. All right, well, thanks to Eddie, and we do appreciate the good words for our police department, the escorts that they have provided. Fire department helps whenever they're asked to participate in those type functions also, so both of those do very good. Also, I know Eddie had brought up 2 or 3 times in his speech tonight about the Patriot Guard Riders, and they've come a long way from when they first formed. How many years ago now, Jack, was that when it was first getting going? That's what I was thinking, about 15, and it kind of started small, but that's got a lot of participation from our area, so we appreciate that. That's always makes a real sightly event whenever they do their escorts and all. Anyway, I just wanted to say, on behalf of the city, we do appreciate all of that, and thank all of you. So, any other comments there? Thanks again, Eddie. Have a good night. Okay, moving on to the next item tonight. Number 6 is visitors. We didn't have anybody on the list, but I do think we have a visitor or 2 that's going to approach. So, with that being said, is there any visitors wishing to come before the council tonight? Mr. Williams, please.
I did call in and asked to speak to the council tonight, but I would like to make a comment at the Foxhole event that the Buffalo Soldiers had at Steel Creek. Mr. Irby seated me by the general. I was an E4 in the Navy, and when they served the meal, the general leaned over to me and he says, "When do we start eating?" And so there were all different ranks up and down that table, but there was only one general. So I told General Cooper, we will start eating when you start. And so, anyway, thank you so much for that event. It was a wonderful event. But I did speak last council meeting about the sign at Lions Park.
Yes, sir.
And did contact Mr. John Davis with the Satsuma Youth Association. They're all in agreement. The council's in agreement. So we've got one quote. We will be looking at some 3 different designs, and we will move forward with that. And just wanted to bring that back. We met last night, and so that will move forward. If I could, just for a moment, I listened to the comments last council meeting concerning the roof on the library. And the library is and I listened to the comments at the pre-council. It is a historic building, the only municipal historic building that we have. The educational, historical, and cultural value that it brings to the city, to me, is beyond measure. And I would just like the council, I wouldn't certainly want to cause any conflict, but Mr. Phillips made a suggestion at the last council meeting that we get a quote with the weather guard down, and that's what I call it. I don't know what the real name is, but anyway, if you do that, it'll last 50 years, 60 years, beyond the lifespan of everybody in this room. I would just like to ask the council to consider doing that. It'll cost a little more. I listened to what was said. I don't know whether it's on the quote or whether it wasn't on the quote, but it will cost more. But as he made the point at the last council meeting, if the shingles blow off, the weather guard is still down, and the contents, the interior of the library will still be secure and dry, and all you got to do is put the shingles back on. And so to me, it would solve the problem for the next 50, 60 years. I would just like to ask the council to consider going to that. I know budgets are tight, but it is a capital project and there is capital money. And it's not on the 5-year capital plan, I realize that, but you have 2 positions, the inspector and the public works director. Those salaries have not been paid in 7 months, so perhaps those dollars, some of them could be redirected. If that doesn't work, well, I would just ask that you look at your capital money and move forward and solve that problem for the next 50 or 60 years. Just as a private citizen, those are, I just wanted to make those comments, that you wouldn't have to fool with it ever again. And future council members in the foreseeable future wouldn't have to be bothered with the library, the roof on it. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak before you. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Is there anyone else who would like to come before the council tonight? Well, okay, Mr. Jack Presnell.
I hate to get behind Mr. Eddie. He's a much better speaker than I am, but I would like to remind everybody about Memorial Day, which will be actually Monday week. We got a speaker, a young man that was graduating from Satsuma High School. He's now a major in the United States Marine Corps. He's teaching pilots over at the base in New Orleans. He's a very, very good young man, and I'm looking forward to hearing him. But Memorial Day to me is a very special occasion. It's not a day that you go have a furniture sale. It's a day you come out and you show your respect for these people like Eddie was talking about, that they gave it all. They're not coming back. This year we're going to have a special recognition of Staff Sergeant Ben Thompson, who was killed, I think, in 1967. His remains were never returned to the city of Satsuma. We are going to make a special recognition of him. So I'd like for everybody to make some kind of effort to show up here. It's not going to be a very lengthy ceremony. Edith has taken care of most of the acoustics of it and got it pretty much lined up. So we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good deal. So everybody can come.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I was going to mention that again. We did talk about it in the pre-council on the 31st, Monday at 9 a.m. We will have the celebration or the Memorial Day service here. Edith is in preparation of planning that. If you will be able to attend, please let her know. The sooner the better, so that we can make sure that we make proper notice of who will be there and who's not going to be. So, okay. Jack, thank you as always, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, please come up to the mic. And
Good evening. My name is Lynn Jones. I am the Secretary and Treasurer of the Gilbert Creek Estates Homeowners Association. Our President, T.W. Barnes, could not attend this evening, and you are stuck with me.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
What we would like to present to the council this evening is that the HOA would like to purchase 4 stop sign posts and 2 speed limit sign posts that will match our mailboxes within our community. We will use the stop signs and the speed limit signs. We simply want to replace the post. Another issue that arose this week, we have a street light that the bulb has now stopped burning, and we did not know who to ask about getting a new light bulb for our street light.
Where is the street light at? We just need to make sure Public Works can just tell.
Barnes did not give me the exact location. So it's somewhere between Powers Road and Hannah Chase.
Okay.
I can get with him and ask him.
That'll be an Alabama Power replacement.
Alabama Power, okay, thank you.
Mayor,
All
I
right.
can just get patrol tonight to ride through, find out the exact location, and then we'll let Public Works know in the morning.
You tell them to look specifically there, but to try to make sure they make a note of any of them they see out anywhere so we can report them.
Yes.
That'd be nice. Thank you. Okay. The sign, just getting the sign replaced, the pole is what you're saying?
Yes, sir, posts.
Right. I just noticed some of the new subdivisions around, I don't know if y'all have seen them, they don't put the regular street signs. They have the small one, I guess, fits subdivisions. And some of those are harder to see for me, so I didn't know. I just want to make sure that anything we replace is good, clearly visible,
Yes, sir.
so.
Yes, sir.
But as far as the post, to look like the mailbox and all, I don't see any problem. Do any of y'all see any?
I think it's great. I ride
Thing
through there every day. I was kind of hoping you was going to come up here to remove that speed bump, what I was hoping when you come up here.
Thank you.
No, that's a very nice subdivision over there. It's developed very good, so. Okay, thank you. Ms. Robbins, I see you've entered the room kind of late this evening. Did you have any business you wanted to bring before us tonight?
Just want to brag a minute, if I may.
Please come up.
Last Monday week was Honors Day, and if you haven't seen the Facebook post, there were over $6 million worth of scholarships from the class of 2021 that were announced, and we're still getting scholarships, even after Monday week. A very bright class. We had graduation Friday night. It was beautiful. If you got to attend or if you saw it video-wise, we're very proud of this class. And I know you talked about it in pre-council, keeping our fingers crossed tomorrow, right, for our softball.
Oh, we gonna bring it home.
But thank you for recognizing that we have, as I've said before, great students. 2 national merit finalists. We had 3 valedictorians, 1 salutatorian, and their speeches were awesome. If you didn't hear them, go on virtually and hear what they said, because we're proud of every one of them. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Robbins, and like we had said, we did discuss that in pre-council tonight, this senior class with the challenges they've had and all the academic, of course, is unbelievable with their sports year. They've competed and looked good in everything, the football and the baseball, softball, golf, bowling, tennis. I'm sure I'll miss something, but yes, they did very good, and hopefully we can bring the coaches up or something and let them know that now that the governor's releasing some of these COVID restrictions and all that we have, maybe we can start back the school program and all. I would like to do that maybe next year.
I would love for key students to come back. I think that is so important for our city and for you as a council. I know y'all enjoyed that, I would think. So.
We always enjoyed that very much, and hopefully over the next few weeks we can have a couple of workshops and discuss when it may be good to get started and go back to doing that. Like I said, I'd like to stay a little more involved in the schools, but with not being able to attend all of the events and asking for only parents and students and all, and it's been a little difficult, so that is good. And I'm glad that weather was good and the pictures and all were real pretty. It did happen while we were attending the conference last week, so we wasn't able to attend, but that's good. Mr. Palmer, y'all got anything? Ms. Mildred, any? Well, we appreciate the call to use attending our meeting as always. Okay, if there's no one else to come before the council or any other business, I think we'll just kind of go into our regular order. The mayor's report is what we'll start with, and I kind of covered almost all of this in pre-council a little more at depth, but we'll go back over it now in the meeting and make sure we record it for the minutes. The first thing, we did have our public hearing tonight at 5:30 regarding the 5310 transportation grant. We are going to pursue that with Kara, the grant that we have applied for and received many years in the past. It's regarding transportation. It's what we use for senior transportation. So that was held tonight before we got started. We're asked a lot by the citizens still wanting to inquire about Mr. Smith, our city employee that was injured. Captain Dukes reported that she spoke with his mother, I think it was yesterday, and he is in Atlanta receiving treatment, and we still hope and pray that he'll continue to progress with his treatments. So glad to hear that, and hopefully he can, like I said, stay on a good positive note there. The building inspector list that we have worked on for months and months, we did get another list last week. It had 4 names. We do have an interview scheduled tomorrow. We have our fingers crossed. As we discussed in the pre-council meeting, I think that will help get some of the projects started. But I also would like to bring up that almost all the projects, due to the hurricanes we've had, the COVID going on, the price of building materials and all, it's just hard for me to sit up here and listen to somebody say they don't know how we get installed on programs and that things aren't being started. Some of these roof projects we approved months ago, it's taken this long just to get somebody out to do it. While attending the conference last week, I understand that several other municipalities having the same issues that we are. And if we get an inspector and can start the projects, I still feel like we're going to face a difficult time getting scheduled for some of the people to start the work. The prices are going to continue to fluctuate because of building materials. all the contractors are facing this every day. So, anyway, maybe we can move forward past that. Also in our packet tonight, y'all did see we got a trial balance sheet. Thank you for getting that for us, Heather, for tonight. So I only got that today, so I really hadn't had time to study that a lot before the meeting tonight.
Heather, this was every other page of 14 is what I was getting at. There was 14 pages, says, but every other page is missed. Was that intentional?
No.
I mean,
I guess when it made copies of it, it didn't get the back page. I'll get it to you.
yeah, I was hunting certain one thing, I got to looking, I said, well,
It's just your packet.
okay.
Yeah, I'll get it to you. Is everybody's like that?
Yeah.
As I was saying, and we did attend the meeting, the Alabama League of Municipalities last week in Huntsville, and we all got a chance to listen to speakers on various topics. We split up so that some could listen to some topics while others went to other things. In pre-council, I suggested that we're going to start trying to get our agenda out and published on Friday before the end of the business day, so we'll know. Y'all have all weekend and the Monday, Tuesday before. So although it's going to put a little more pressure on us getting the agenda, it's also, if any items that you want to place on the agenda, please let us know so we can review it and try to make sure that we are prepared also to address anything that you know that you're wanting to discuss. With the governor lifting the mask mandate and kind of things restoring back, I'd really like to see about getting all the council back up here at the front. Maybe we can start in June doing that. It was, does that, it just seemed like it goes better instead of when we have people approaching and all this. It just seemed like it would be a little better, and I know that we've done that trying to do our social distancing and all, but now that we're live streaming the meetings, and I've heard a lot of positive comment, but also we still continue to hear people say they can't hear or see, especially at the table, when somebody has their back. So if y'all are all in agreement with that, I think that we're going to try to set up the meeting starting in June, where we'll readdress, realigning the chairs and all, because as you can see, we're starting to have more people to attend some of the meetings, and I think we're going to have some planning board meetings in the not-too-distant future. It's probably going to have a lot of people coming. So tonight, we had a meeting after our last council meeting with Civil Southeast. They were here at pre-council tonight to discuss a sidewalk project, and that would be tying in the sidewalks on Old 43 from Powers back to Thomas and back up to Pennsylvania Station, and also trying to extend for some distance running south from Baker Road back up Hartley Road. So y'all all have a packet of information. I think there'll be a resolution tonight on the agenda where we have to pass that. So if y'all have had a chance, I know it was quite a bit of information, but I think the resolution is basically the same thing that's been passed many times before, same resolution.
Can I speak on that real quick?
Sure.
I just want to make sure everybody's aware that if the price escalates on this in the next year and a half, or whenever if we decide to proceed, that you would be on the hook for the engineering design cost, the survey cost, the environmental certification, and the right-of-way certification, which looks to be roughly about $28,000 if you decide not to bid it. So I just want us to make sure everybody's on the same page with that. And that's really all I have for now on that.
Right, we discussed that with them, and I know you'd brought up some good questions in the pre-council. You know, it's an 80-20 grant, which I know that they're saying probably 70-30 is what it would work out to be. I just hate for us to leave that money on the table and not to explore it. But I'm scared that any project we go to bid right now, we're going to face some of these escalating costs. And, you know, I know we say that every meeting, but, so yeah, but Mr. Skelton brought up a good point. I mean, there is a possibility that we could be out some engineering costs if we decided to pull the plug on it, but I'm hopeful that.
One good thing, if we do that, we'll still have that engineering for the future.
Yeah, you're correct in
You know
that.
what I'm saying? If something happened there, we
You
would
could
have
re-
that to use.
You could rebid it
At a
another
later
day.
date with
Yeah.
the same engineering.
Right. We've actually discussed some engineering on some preliminary stuff that had been done on some roads and all that we're hoping to keep in the not-too-distant future. So you're right. It wouldn't be totally wasted money, but
Right.
that's a good point. Thank you. As we brought up earlier, we're nearing completion of the bridge on 43. There is still work going on. There's still workers there. I think Mr. Butler and Mr. Skelton both pointed out that you still need to use a lot of caution through that area or any area you have construction going on the roads. But hopefully that project is starting to come to an end, and I know we'll all be glad to see that. That's been quite a while getting that bridge going. As told you earlier in the meeting tonight, we did receive the Go Mesa funding today, so we have waited on that for quite some time, and I'm very happy to say that that did come in today, and we set up the accounts today, and so I think we have to set that up and count to monitor it just for what it's going to do, and also hopefully we can get that work, we'll get started. And as we discussed in our pre-council, I think we're going to start trying to have a workshop on the second Tuesday nights of every month. I know that some people won't be able to attend, but we can specifically identify issues that we have, like parks or the lodge that we're trying to get movement on, and just specifically identify, you know, what we, just have a topic and all come together, and, you know, if we can make it, that's good. I'm sure sometimes some of you will have to miss, but I think it would be good, and it is very difficult when coming together twice a month to keep everybody up to speed on every project that's going on in the city, and so, if y'all all agree, that's what we're going to do for a while. And let me see.
So Mayor, we're talking about that every Tuesday night between will be the second Tuesday?
That'd be the second Tuesday, right?
So we're not just when we think we need it, we're just gonna set it?
I'd like to set one at least for the next couple of months, and, you know, so we can, because like the Steel Creek project, I think that's going to be, that in itself could probably use a couple, 2 or 3 nights to get, once we get some prices coming back in, and, you know, rather than tie the whole council meeting up on that. So,
Let's just say that for the next couple of,
okay.
and then see where we're at.
Okay, well, it just seems like sometimes whenever we have the, you know, like at the water board, meeting once a month, it seemed like we're starting to get a little better movement on some of our projects now that we've started trying to do it twice a month and not letting stuff sit. So, and like I said, I understand that sometimes people are going to have to miss some of those, but if we try it for a couple of months, we're successful, maybe we can stay doing it. If it don't seem to be making any headway, then we'll refigure and see if we can do something else. Like I said, the girls will be playing softball tomorrow for the championship. You said that game's in Oxford tomorrow? Mr. Little, is that
I'm not sure which time.
Yeah, it's in Oxford.
what you said earlier, right? Well, that's good, so we certainly wish them a lot of luck, and hopefully they'll be successful. That's all I have under the mayor's report. So with that being said, we'll go into the regular order now with the council, and the first one up is Mr. Little, Public Services.
I did want to thank the city and everybody involved. I really appreciated being able to go to the convention this year. We did learn quite a bit. I did want to mention that. Also, I mentioned last council meeting, the van for the senior services was down. We had it in the shop. We've got it out. It's back in service, and everything's going well with it. And we've been issuing quite a good bit of permits, so everything's going well in that department too. But other than that, that's all, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Little. Going into public safety, Mr. Butler.
I've talked with Chief Harrell. The body cams came to Friday, so I know everybody's afraid with this. And by the end of this Friday, everybody will have their body cams equipped and ready to go. On Chief Waits, one of the fire trucks, we had a hose bed, and he is going to fix it at no cost for the city in the morning. So he should be finished and back in the city, about 10 a.m., about that. And the other thing, I want to say this one more time. I know the mayor said this and Jason has said the same thing, but the lanes in Highway 43, they're still working right there. So it should be working, kind of monitor with everything for 3 to 4 weeks, and then everybody will be gone. But we still have a lot of people speeding. There's still people there, so we have to be safe with that. So I just want to say everybody was, be careful during this area. So other than that, I don't have anything left.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Butler. We're moving on. Mr. Skelton.
I just have a couple things. Likewise, I want to thank everyone for allowing us to go to the conference, because it was definitely an enlightening time, and with all the COVID stuff and hearing how other cities was able to manage. Earlier I discussed opportunities for grants, pursuing grants with engineering firms, particularly our city engineer, Goodwill Mills and Kaywood, and also with engineering design technologies for different types of grants. They've got in-house grant writers that would write the grant for free, pending us getting the grant, and then they would in turn get the engineering work off the backside. Council seemed to be in agreement with that, and the next opportunity that's presented to me, I will bring it to the council and see if we can, if it's something that it's interesting to us and we can move forward with pursuing. But that's all I have for now.
Okay. Ms. Reese, as I said earlier, I said she had an event with her daughter tonight, and she left after pre-council. So we'll move on to Public Works and Mr. Phillips.
Mayor, I really don't have nothing tonight for Public Works, but I would like to make a comment about our public services. I seen a Facebook video the other night where a citizen had failed to put their garbage out on time, and when he rode the street and left it, not realizing the garbage had been run. And on the video, it showed the truck coming by and seen on the other side of the road, the driver actually got out, walked across the street, grabbed the garbage can, took it across the street, dumped it for the citizen, and then took it back. I think that was outstanding, and I just wanted to be sure Mr. Little was aware of it, to let the employees know how much we appreciate things like that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that was the guys at the trash ramp doing the trash and the debris pickup and all. They seem to always do a good job. We get a lot of good comments on them, but thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, sir. We got our side-by-side ready yet?
It's ready, but the weather would cooperate and get it on the road.
Okay.
It's been too windy this week to spray.
Okay, so the lights are on and off, so now it'd be safe to use. Great. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Phillips. Well, there's no other business coming before the council. We'll move into the number 8, items for discussion and consideration. First item up tonight will be the payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $39,520.96.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Phillips, pay the bills in set amount. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Thank you. Passed. Moving on to number 2 is consideration of Ken Waits, Fire Chief, to attend AAFC Summer Conference, August 8th through the 11th, 2021 in Orange Beach. The estimated cost is $800 plus food.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Butler and seconded by Mr. Little to approve the fire chief attending the conference in Orange Beach in August. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's show the motion passed. Number 3, consideration, it says of hiring, but I think it should be promoting of Charles Washington from operator 2 to an operator 3. Is that the way it should read?
That's
Effective.
correct.
Promoting.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Little and seconded by Mr. Butler to approve the promotion of Charles Washington to operator 3. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Item number 4, it seems to somehow been a little bit of a hot topic, and I don't think it really is. I haven't heard anybody that is opposed to replacing the library roof, or we simply have tried to start doing a scope of work, getting sealed bids, identifying how we're going to pay for projects and all, and somehow that was translated in that there was a problem. I think the council, from what I have heard, have all agreed that we probably need to do a better job of writing up a scope of work, getting bids from different companies, and making sure that we're getting good competitive bids and the projects, that they're all bidding the same project. So if there's anybody that sees that any differently, I wish you'd let us know, but or tell me now. But I know tonight there was some discussion, and it mainly was around the fact of, was it a sealed bid? And if not, why didn't we do it? And, I didn't know that we're starting the process, so I guess we should have gotten in it before. And then the next thing was exactly how we were going to pay for it and the percentage of what the roof is going to be from what we did receive from the insurance payment. All those were valid questions, but it's on the agenda tonight. We can move forward with it if that's the wishes of the council. We can table it to the following meeting or make the changes, whatever y'all wish to do. I'll just, I'd like for us to clearly state what we're going to do and then try to have it taken care of by the next meeting. So,
I'll like to speak on the financing part of it. I will own the finance side of it, because I want to make sure that we have what percentage of the insurance reimbursement we got will go towards this part of the project.
right.
And I will own that. I dropped the ball on that, and I apologize. But that is something that I can work on, and have back emailed to everybody in the next couple of days, if y'all want to do that. I just got tied up, and I absolutely dropped the ball on it.
Yeah.
So I
I
apologize.
don't think anybody dropped the ball. We didn't realize at the last meeting that the severity of it, and it was coming up for a vote, and we'd really not discussed some of those things, and they were good questions. So, any other discussion on it, or?
I mean, I'm for the sealed bids, also on a project this expensive. I mean, I was gonna go ahead and say, we put it off 2 meetings already, and like you say, it's gonna take a while probably to even get started on the project once we okay it. But, you know, being, you know, we need to know, yeah, where the money's gonna come from, capital or whatever, you know, source. So maybe we should put it off one more meeting, but, we need to be ready next meeting to go ahead and okay this, to get this started, to take care of this project. Now, if we can somehow tie that in to get seal bids before then, I'm fine with it, but if not, I know we got, you know, 3 bids, and then we come back and there was some pertinent questions, you know, asked, and we went on, Mr. Phillips, you know, and I agree to do the little extra to, you know, maybe, you know, make the roof last longer. I'm in agreement with that, but we come back twice, so if we can't, you know, I'm ready to go ahead with the lowest bid there that we've got. So whatever, you know, if we can handle that away, fine, but if not, we need to be ready next meeting to
I feel like
to do it.
the quote Crystal's brought up here the last time, the scope of work is pretty good. You know, it's got the ice and water shield. But if we go wait 2 weeks, I would like to submit her 3 or 4 other different roofing companies I know of that possibly could save us a little bit of money, because they should get a bid back within 2 weeks. If they don't, you don't worry about them, you know. So if that's all right with Crystal, I'll send you them names, and we just ask them all to resubmit on a sealed bid, you know.
Right.
We'll open them up 2 weeks from now and award the job.
Right, and in defense of Crystal, I mean, she hadn't been doing that, you know, for that long, and then to come in and have the hurricane issues and dealing with FEMA and everything else, she's had her hands tied, and I'll take up for her on that.
Yeah, the
But, you know, in the
scope's pretty
future.
good on it that she wrote up.
Well, I appreciate that, and I was abiding by bid laws, anything under 50,000 didn't have to be sealed. You asked for a scope of work, I learned from previous mistakes, I did that.
Yeah.
But that's what-
It's no fault of yours. I say it's pretty good. It's just if we could wait 2 more weeks, I feel like we might get lucky and save $4,000 or $5,000 by letting a few more people bid it.
But in general, to answer your question, anything that's going to be, I mean, if it's something small, I think a couple of quotes are fine, but yes, anytime we get into, you know, 10,000 or more, we certainly should be in a, you know, a project that's $25,000 or $30,000, I would think, should, even though I know we can do it under 50,000, I still think it looks better showing that we're having sealed bids and it's, you know, with the scope of work, so.
Well, sometimes, like you say, in her defense, again, sometimes it's hard to even get 1 or 2 estimates. But, I mean, if you get 3, that's good, but hey, if Mr. Phillips or anybody else knows that we can get even more, I mean, that's good, but, you know, we need to handle that when the situation comes up, you know?
Mr. Butler, any comments? You're the only one.
Well, you got to remember, my wife works with the library, so I try to.
Not say much when it pertains to the
That's why I
library.
didn't say anything. I kind of abstained.
Well, I didn't want you to think we was leaving you out of the library, because it had been
There's a lot I could say about it, but
you'd probably be
I can't do
better.
it.
Yeah, you might have to go home. It might be better that you don't. No. Okay, then we're going to,
Make a
we can let
motion.
Ms. Reese know that we did discuss it, and it's pretty much an agreement that we're going to do it, but we're going to lay it over to,
Make a motion to table it.
Make the motion to table it until the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll second it.
yeah, so, motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little to table the library roof project until the next meeting, till we can answer the questions that have come up tonight. Any further discussion?
Mayor, do you want seal bids on that?
Yes, I would like seal
Okay,
bids.
so we'll put that out once with that same scope, and you want them
Same
by
scope,
that meeting?
yes. Why don't we just have them by
4 o'clock.
4
that
o'clock?
day?
Yeah, that's one. That should give it adequate time, and, you know, we'll apologize to any of the roofing companies that we probably put a couple of them out, making them redo it, so. Okay, I think you stopped me when I was about to call it to a vote, so
I'm sorry.
at that time, so
I want
we'll,
to make sure we get that on there.
all right. Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little to table it to answer the questions to the following meeting, which will be June the 1st. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to table it to the next meeting. At our last council meeting, we found that the sidewalk grants were still available at the 80/20, and after speaking with the council, we did look at pursuing some additional sidewalk funding. We did meet with Civil Southeast. They came to the pre-council tonight. They've put together a packet identifying the areas and what they anticipate being the cost. There was a lot of questions asked at the meeting with them and tonight in our pre-council. Hopefully, they were able to address the concerns of the council. So with that being said, we will continue to pursue this, and then I guess we'll can bring that back up under resolutions, because we have to pass a resolution tonight, which will be Resolution 2021-05-02, that we'll do in the next section, which we actually are going into right now. So we got the resolution that we need to put up, because we got to put it up for immediate adoption tonight, right?
Yes, sir. Suspend the rules, then put it up.
All right. Well, does anybody wish to make a motion to suspend the rules to put this resolution up for immediate adoption tonight?
I'll make that motion.
Do we need to, consider it first, or number 5? Or is that how we're gonna handle it? We can all do it all at once?
You got to consider it, and then you put the resolution up, so, on number 5.
I'll make the motion for number 5.
Well, I didn't know why it would require a vote just to go ahead and consider, because we've already done it in pre-council here. I mean, it's fine to call it to a vote, but,
Second.
so, motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Phillips for consideration of the 2022 TAP Sidewalk Grant application. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, we'll move on to resolution, ordinances, orders, and other business. Number 1, Resolution 2021-05-02, a resolution authorizing Civil Southeast to make application to Aldot for sidewalk improvements.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and consider that resolution.
Second.
Mr. Skelton made a motion to suspend the rules, seconded by Mr. Butler to suspend the rules and put the resolution up for immediate adoption. Any discussion? All,
Do the roll call.
roll call.
Mayor Barlow,
Yes.
Councilman Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Reese.
Yes.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Let the record reflect that all in attendance voted in favor of suspending the rules and putting said resolution up for immediate adoption.
I'll make a motion, we put up for immediate adoption, Resolution 2021-05-02.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Skelton. Thank you, Mr. Butler. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, resolution is passed. Okay, one we hadn't really discussed tonight much, number 2, Resolution 2021-05-03, a resolution to adopt the 2021 Division A Multiple Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Make that motion.
So we got to suspend the rules on that too?
Sir.
And I don't think we're just introducing it tonight, right?
We're not going to vote on it tonight, or does it require immediate?
No, we need to vote on it tonight. It's due by June the 1st.
What is it? I haven't seen, I don't know what it's about.
It should be in your packet, that resolution.
I saw the resolution, but I didn't know if there was anything to go with it.
It's the same one that we do with the county to be able to use their equipment
Okay,
that we do every year when Miss Ludgood.
gotcha.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
You talking, wait, hold on a second.
Okay.
You talking about the multi-hazard or the county purchasing agreement?
Yeah,
No.
that's what yeah, she confused me on it. I think that you got them confused.
A503.
Yep.
Yes, it's part of that. You have to do the resolution and the ordinance.
Okay.
Good? Make the motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Skelton to suspend the rules for the said resolution. So I guess we'll need a roll call.
Mayor Barlow,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Reese, Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Let the record reflect, all voted to suspend the rules and put the said resolution up for immediate adoption. With no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion now.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Skelton to pass the said resolution. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Let it show that it has passed. And then the final thing on our agenda tonight is the Ordinance 524 to authorize joint purchase with Mobile County.
Mayor, I need to correct that. It needs to be ordinance 538. We found more ordinances afterwards.
That's along with the other one. We need
The
to,
hazard mitigation one also allows us to file for any grants. This is from Leslie Johnston as well.
make the motion to authorize purchasing with Mobile County.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little and seconded by Mr. Butler and Mr. Skelton to put it up to a pass ordinance 5, it's going to be changed to 538 regarding authorized joint purchase with Mobile County. Any discussion?
If that's, if we, do we introduce that last time or not, on the joint purchasing?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't recall if we introduced the joint purchasing. Procedurally, we would need to do immediate adoption if we're going to introduce it.
Do we
and
have to
adopt.
do that, or can we just introduce it tonight?
Leslie said she needed it by June 1st, so
Then we got to put it up for immediate adoption if it's got to
you
be.
can suspend it
Yeah, you
Suspend
need
the
to
rules
suspend it,
again.
even though it is the same one that we use every year.
every year. Yes, sir.
Make the motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little and seconded by Jason to suspend the rules and put ordinance 538 up for immediate adoption. I guess we're going to call a roll call again since it hasn't been introduced for tonight.
Mayor Barlow,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Councilmember Reese.
Let it show all in attendance voted yes to suspend the rules and put the said adoption up for immediate adoption tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Skelton again. Any discussion? No further discussion? Put it up for immediate adoption. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Let it show it passed. We're going to try to prevent that from occurring again so we don't get, where we don't have time to study them and discuss them. So
Just
I
for-
apologize for that.
Just for clarification, that Mobile County Hazard Mitigation Grant is, or, excuse me, the hazard mitigation plan is the same one from 2016, so doesn't appear to be anything new in it.
Okay, thank you for that. Well, is any other business need to come before the council?
One other thing, and I
Okay.
forgot to talk about during our roof discussion, was we need to make sure that anybody that bids on that project has a Satsuma license and the Alabama State Roofer's license, because I know a lot of these guys come from out of town, especially right now. They may not have all of that, so. We just need to confirm they've got all of that information.
Well, thank you for that, but we
When they pull the permit, they have to show their
stress that
roofer's license. second
anybody we
recommendation.
do business
Pull the
with,
permit, they'll have to supply them to pull the permit. Oh,
we need to make sure we do that on all business we do, anybody we're doing business with. But thank you very much for bringing that up.
Mr. Mayor, before you close, I would like just to bring y'all up to date on the generator. Chief Harrell and Chief Waits got me the information, the last of it today, and I've sent it off to Generac to see if we had a list of items that had been damaged or destroyed from the use of the generator. Requested that they reevaluate their offer to see if they'll increase it, or if that's the best we can do, then the next meeting we'll decide whether we want to pursue some kind of legal action to get a different one or take what they've offered.
Okay.
Thank Chief Waits and Chief Harrell for getting that information.
Any other business to come before the council? If there are no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made and second. All those in favor, we are adjourned.
Hmm?